Today, I will demonstrate how I winterize my RV using compressed air. So it's early October here on the Front Range of Colorado, and it's actually going to be in the mid-70s for the next few days, but later in the week they're predicting it's going to get down to 15 degrees. So I need to drain all the fresh water out of my camper to prevent the water from freezing. One method of winterizing an RV is to pump the freshwater system full of antifreeze. I'm not a big fan of having antifreeze in my freshwater system, but the main reason I like to use compressed air is I still would like to go camping later again this year, and once the lines are all empty, it's just a simple matter of adding fresh water and heading out. Before winterizing your RV, be sure and empty your black and gray water tanks. To use compressed air to blow out your fresh water system, you'll need a compressor or a portable air tank. You also need an adapter to get from your compressor to the freshwater inlet. So I just assembled a simple adapter using a brass garden hose to NPT, threaded NPT fitting. This one has both external and internal threads. I have a reducing fitting, a couple of nipples and an elbow so that I can clear my dually fenders, and then the appropriate adapter that works with my compressed air system. If your camper or RV is equipped with a water heater, you'll also need a socket wrench to remove the anode rod so you can drain the water heater. Next, set your water heater to bypass. My bypass valve and my water heater are located under my kitchen sink. I just rotated the valve to the bypass setting, which I've previously marked with a B to remind me which is which. Now we're ready to open our drains. My camper has three. We have a low point drain and two drain valves. This can take a while. While the freshwater system is draining, we can also go ahead and remove the anode rod from the water heater and let it drain. My RV uses a anode rod with a 1 16th inch nut. Once you get it loose, you can spin it loose with your fingers. And if you got to keep a little positive pressure on the threads, once it loosens up, you can pull the anode rod straight out. In my case, I just let it glug just on the side. Here's what my anode rod typically looks like. Anode rods are consumable, and even though this looks pretty beat up, there's actually quite a bit of life left on this anode rod. So we'll go ahead and let that drain. Once your fresh water tank is empty, you can go ahead and just run your pump to pull some air through it to get any additional water out. Or you can use the antifreeze siphon tube, which is what I have here. Set the valve to siphon and then just run your pump. Additionally, you could remove the filter on the input side to expose it to the atmosphere. And if you're really careful, you can always disconnect the outlet side of your pump and drain it there as well. Once the water lines are drained in your camper, you can go ahead and connect your adapter to the freshwater inlet of your camper and connect your air line. I start off with my air line uncharged because I don't want to introduce a lot of pressure all at once to my lines. Next, we'll close the drain valves for the freshwater system. If your freshwater tank isn't quite empty, you can keep that open. And now set your regulator on your compressor. I like to start off pretty easy. I find about 20 pounds is all you really need. Now that we have compressed air in our system, we can start blowing out the lines. I like to start with the drain valves outside the camper, opening and closing them one at a time. Next, I'll proceed inside the camper, and then I'll come back outside and I'll do these valves again, and I might go through the whole process 2 or 3 times. The kitchen sink. Cold, and then warm, or hot. The bathroom sink. Cold, hot, and don't forget the shower head if you have one, and the toilet. And if you have an outdoor shower, don't forget to do that as well. Repeat that process 2 or 3 times, or until you're pretty satisfied you got all the water out. Reinstall your anode rod if it's still in good shape. If not, go ahead and replace. Not a bad idea to add a couple of turns of Teflon tape, depending upon whether you find that it leaks. You just kind of want to gently slide it in. Keep some pressure on it while you're engaging the threads. Take your handy dandy socket wrench and get it snug. You don't have to go nuts. And while you're here, if you have a power switch for shore power, now's a good time to turn that off and button it up. Now we also need to get the water out of the P-traps. So this is a place where using some antifreeze is not unreasonable. You can purchase the Pink RV antifreeze from lots of different places. But what I was going to show here is if you don't happen to have some, you can just go ahead and loosen up the fittings. It'll make a bit of a mess. But, you know, it's a simple, inexpensive way to go. Of course I'm doing this with one hand. There we go. And if you use just a shop towel, you can kind of catch most of it and then reassemble. All it is hand tight. If you elect to do it this way, the next time you use your camper, check for leaks. For the bathroom sink and a shower drain, go ahead and use some RV antifreeze. Another worthwhile step is to crack open your gray tank drain, just to drain out any additional liquid that you may have. in my case, I didn't really get any real additional water. So that's it. So we're all winterized. So we can either park the camper for the winter, or if I get lucky and the weather improves here in a couple of weeks or a month, I can just add fresh water and be on my way. I hope you found this video useful, and until next time, happy camping.